The 20th edition of the Nevis Triathlon is set to take place on Saturday, the 5th of November. Greg Phillip, president of the Nevis Multisport Association, is here to tell us about it. Good morning, Greg. Welcome to Good Morning SKN. Our pleasure. And I was supposed to give you a compliment on that smile. It's a winning one.
Well, thank you. It's never too late to do that.
Right. So 20 years is a long time, a very long time.
Yes.
How did this triathlon initially come to be?
Well, it didn't start with me. It started way back with Winston Crook, and Winston started it with some friends way back in, I think it was 2000 or 2001. I mean, we're a bit off because, the pandemic had us on hiatus for a couple of years. But, it started out very small with just a few people, lots of students from the Ross University over the years joined and participated. And then, we began to get people from overseas, mostly from the Caribbean islands at first, and then it grew into a major international event where we had lots of people from the UK, from North America, and of course, other islands in the Caribbean, and that really made it something special.
Well, that's a great marketing, by the way, I have to say, because the fact that it's known, all over. It's great.
Yeah, and as time progressed, what we did was really began to look at this as an opportunity to enhance sport tourism in St. Kitts and Nevis and to get more visitor arrivals coming for sport. And, it's a participatory sport, and it's one of the sports around the world that people really travel for and love to travel to participate in.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so there are two distances. I'm going to try to say the first one, try. I think that was the first
You're
one.
correct.
And Nevis 37. Am I saying that correctly?
Well, let me explain that one. The try is really what it says it is. It's TRY. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to try a triathlon.
Okay.
So it's a shorter race that we have designed mostly for children and adults who never did a triathlon before. It's for beginners and children. So if any of you want to show up and race against kids and then brag about how you won the triathlon, it's a great opportunity to do that. We won't tell anybody that it's 5-year-olds that you beat.
That's a big disadvantage, though.
It's a great selling point, right?
No, but hey, a win is a win. Doesn't matter.
Indeed.
So we have the try, and then after that we also have you said it's a Nevis 37. That's a name that we had for that one, because it basically, the bike course circumnavigates the entire island of Nevis, and when you add that, the distance around Nevis, plus the distance that you would have swam, plus the distance that you would have ran, it would come up to about 37 kilometers in total.
Wow, okay, now that one, definitely try would be me.
Yes.
Not
me
sure about
too.
the 37.
Yes. 37 will be when we get more advanced from the try, right?
Yes,
Indeed.
yes. So no problem. Everyone has to start from somewhere, and that's why we do it, because it's a great opportunity to have some fun with it.
Indeed. So where's the starting point for the triathlon?
Well, it all happens at Orly, on the beach at the Orly Beach Resort. So we have what in triathlon you have what you call a transition point, because that's the point where essentially you get back to after every leg of the race. So you'll swim, exit the water, and get back to that point on the beach at Orly, where you'll of course take off your swim goggles, and you'll get your bike, your helmet, and your shoes, etc., and get on the bike right around Nevis, and then you come back to that same exact location where you'll rack your bike, put your bike back, and get your shoes, etc., your running shoes on, and then run. And then when you finish, you're finishing in the general area on the beach at Orly. So we moved to Orly. We used to have it in Charleston. We moved to Orly a few years ago, just before the last event, which was 2019, we moved it over to Orly because, it's a much better location aesthetically. And because we have plans to really grow it into something much more significant than it is now, we felt that location was much better and much more convenient for the future based on what we have planned. And, given that we used to do it in the middle of Charleston. So everything basically happens at Orly, and what we're trying to do. If I can go on, sorry, I talked.
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
What we're really trying to do is map this as the return of triathlon to Nevis, and the return being what happens now after the pandemic. It is back. This is our rebuilding, the start of the rebuilding, so to speak, because we really want to put the wheels on this and grow it into something that's more significant than it has been. So we have with us again. There's a sport event company out of Wales in the UK. They're assisting us again with race operations and logistics on the day. It's called Always Aim High Events, and we also have with us, of course, the sponsorship of the Orly Beach Resort. But not only that, Ram Supermarket, the Nevis Sun Tours, which is a destination management and tour operator that's based here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we, of course, are going to have our other regulars like Carry Breweries and a few other sponsors, and of course, the assistance of the Nevis Island administration. We're bringing all these sponsors back together to really make this grow into something that is going to be significant in the future coming out of this year.
Well, that's exactly what I want to talk to you about, because when you talk about the plans, we're talking about year 20, and when I hear you speak about the plans for growth, I'm thinking you're looking 20 years down the line. So this might be the start of something that is even greater. Paint for us that picture of what it is that you're planning. Okay,
well, to paint that picture, let's look back at the past. In 2008, I think is when we can say that we really had the biggest one, where we had somewhere in the region of 130 participants, and those were from 28 different countries, if my memory serves me right. That was the year when I think we were the largest. It's the largest triathlon we've ever had. And then we had a couple of years in 2011 and 2012 when we had a collaboration with a company out of Europe called TriStar, where we made some significant steps. So we've had some good years in the past, and we're trying to build back not only to those levels, but much bigger than that. And in part, why we are so confident that we can do that, it's not only because of the assistance that we know that we can get here, the assistance that we can also get from companies like Nevis Sun Tours and the hotels around here, because again, it is a sport tourism event. So we are basically looking at how we can bring all this type of assistance we need together and go forward. We have and we are known, so there's some goodwill internationally for the triathlon here. So we're working on that. Triathlon is on the rise again. Not only that, we have Jane Handsome. Jane Handsome has participated in this race a number of times, and the significance of Jane Handsome is that, yeah, she's from the UK, but she now lives here on Nevis. And in addition to that, Jane has won the Triathlon World Championships, Age Group World Championship in Hawaii. That was in 2017, she did. She is a past world champion. She currently works with the triathlon. It's a triathlon company now that's really making some waves in the triathlon world, putting on events for professional triathletes. So, we are in a position where we have association with a number of people who could help us progress. And so we feel that we're in a great position to build and move forward.
I want to know this year, what's participation looking like? What do you anticipate it to be for this year's event?
Well, for this year's event, I mean, I'm anticipating that we'll probably have maybe 40 participants, and there's good participation that we feel is going to come from some of our neighboring islands. We are expecting 69 people, as a matter of fact, from the island of Saba. A number of them are going to race. The others are basically coming for the weekend to be here on Nevis. We did have a travel agency in Canada, as a matter of fact, just outside of Toronto, who's was really working on getting a group together to come, and the target was 75 triathletes to actually come. We don't anticipate that's going to happen this year, and it's really going to come down to an issue of impact flights. Air Canada doesn't begin flying until the week after the triathlon, so great timing on their part. Triathlon is timed perfectly. They're just flying a bit later than we expected. So that's gonna hamper the efforts, the international efforts, in terms of what we were expecting from Canada. But what the intention is to really make sure that this year's event is one that we collect some great photo and video assets from, to really use for promotion next year, so that next year we would in fact have a lot more people participating than now. We're really counting this year on local participation. There's a swim club here on Nevis, so we're going to have the youths from that swim club participating. The local universities, Ross universities, and the medical schools here in St. Kitts and Nevis usually come out, and we have great participation from them. So for this year, in terms of the numbers, those we know coming in, we are expecting some people from the UK, and of course some from the US, but we don't expect the numbers are going to be big, because again, this is our rebuilding year. This is the start of rebuilding, and next year is when we expect to begin to see more significant numbers.
Just a follow-up question quickly, Craig. I think I read somewhere on your site, perhaps, that everyone who participates will receive a medal. Is that accurate?
Yes. Everyone who participates and finishes. It's a finish.
You have to finish.
That's the qualifier.
Yes. And it doesn't matter if it's the kids you competed against, you'll still get a medal.
It's just not against
and quickly, let me tell you about the trophies and the medal. We don't use anymore, the plastic stuff that are imported. There's a stone artist here on Nevis called Marvin Chapman. So nice. Over the years, he's been making our stone trophies. They're one-of-a-kind sculpture made from Nevis stone. And this year, we're having him also make the medals. The island of Nevis has a great shape. It's already a medal. So the medals are going to be made from Nevis stone and shaped like the island of Nevis.
That's so sweet.
I love that.
During the break, I asked you, how did the Nevis Triathlon get international notoriety? So can you tell our viewers?
Yes, well, it really happened and took off. I think it was around 2008 when Triathlete magazine, this is the biggest triathlon magazine in the world, it's based in the US, when they covered the race. And we had something like a 10-page spread in that magazine, and that really helped us. And then after that, with the association with TriStar, the first year when we were TriStar, 2011, there was an influx of professional triathletes who came down and participated in the race. So we had that year, Chris McCormick, who was in fact the world champion triathlete at the time. He participated here, and that was amazing. He rode around Nevis in something like 43 minutes or something like that, and just blew everybody's mind. But then even before that, there was something brewing here in St. Kitts and Nevis already with triathlon, and many people do not recognize this, but St. Kitts itself, the St. Kitts Triathlon, was really what introduced us to triathlon, and that triathlon to this day is still a legendary triathlon, because professionals all around the world, when we travel and we get in touch with people who participated, they still talk about that triathlon. Some people come thinking that our race is that same race. And the reason why that was so legendary is because it was the first Continental Cup triathlon race that the International Triathlon Union had. ESPN used to cover this race. They swam in Frigate Bay. They rode over the peninsula, 2 majors bay from Frigate Bay twice, and it was absolutely the toughest course in triathlon at the time, in Olympic distance triathlon at the time. So all those things put together really helped to solidify St. Kitts and Nevis as a destination for triathlon. And that is why we can say that we're confident that we're going to rebuild something, because the history is already there.
Good.
Oh, Greg, I really want to know now, what would you say is the most challenging part of the triathlon?
The most challenging part of the triathlon on Nevis, our triathlon, is definitely the cycling part, because you're riding around Nevis and you're going up what has been termed over the years the Anaconda Hill. That is that hill that, yes, it's that hill that essentially starts in Charlestown, after you exit Charlestown, and go all the way to Gingerland. So if you know Nevis, you know that that's a good climb. It's about 3 miles in total. But it is a lovely climb if you love cycling. If not so much, it's really going to be grueling. But again, I know you guys are thinking about beating the kids, but if you're competing against the kids, that's not the course that you'll take. You'll simply ride from Orly to the airport and back. Just a nice shot and flattish 5 kilometers.
Why do you not have confidence that we can climb or compete with the adults and do well?
I know you wouldn't want to climb the Anaconda.
All right. So can you let the viewers know what is the registration process for this event?
Well, the registration process, if you go to the website for Nevis on Tours, you'll be able to find the link there to register. It'll take you to the portal for JAD. That's of course the company in St. Kitts. You can do your registration there, but not only that, if you don't want to do it online, we will accept registrations up to the morning of the race. So you can just show up and we'll manually do your registration on the morning of the race. And with your registration, you get a race packet that would include, number one, a T-shirt. That's just for registering, so you don't have to finish to get the T-shirt. You get your race number, etc. And you'll also, through your registration, also get a ticket for something else that's going to be happening on the day. We're not just having a triathlon. It's a triathlon that's going to also include a beach barbecue party that's being put on by the Orly Beach Resort. So once you register, you also get a ticket for your complimentary lunch after the triathlon. There'll be musical entertainment. And the lunch and everything is not just for the participants. Of course, if you're there as a spectator and somebody who's enjoying the entertainment, which would also include some folklore, like masquerades, etc. It's a great time to come out on Saturday, and the entertainment and food, the barbecue, etc., goes all the way down to about 2:30. So you can show up from around the time the race begins at 7 o'clock and spend all day if you want. If you just want to come a little later, from the time the race finishes, which is about 10, 11 o'clock, and just spend the rest of the day there. It's a great time to really come out and enjoy yourself at Orly and have a chance to have some great barbecue.
Indeed.
That sounds absolutely great. Listen, you have done a really good job selling Nevis, selling that triathlon for people who just want to try.
Yes. Come out and try it. We'll just say you're the champion.
Okay, wonderful. And I'll get my trophy to symbolize that.